I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Do I race with power is a good question that we always get asked. And it definitely has its benefits, especially like when we look at like conditions of the weather. Say if I'm riding like a time trial or a triathlon, then power can be quite specific. Like we can have a percentage of power that we want to facilitate, you know, like throughout the day, so we're not burning too like many matches. Also, like, you know, like what I do love about power, if you know how to use it, is that we know we can work out like how much power do I push into a headwind, how much power do I push into a tailwind, how do I climb a hill, and how do I descend. And that's when the art of, say, like our coaching really kicks into it. Where there is restrictions on power is when we're doing like specific intervals, you know, like we talk about like max intervals, then it can control people a bit too much sometimes. And also, say if you like road racing and gravel riding or cyclocross riding, then I don't think that you like power, you wouldn't always want to be following that. But where it can kick in is, say, like you can learn from the data, like sometimes you've got to switch off from, you know, the power meter's there, race how you would normally race. But say if I do a road race and I don't know, I look at the file and I've got like this massive, all these spikes at the start, and then my power just dramatically like drops off, then what I can learn from that is, okay, well maybe you know, I've got X amount of matches, I probably want to bring those in later into the race. So then you can utilize like the information a lot of the time. And I think that that's what people don't always use, you know, like they've got the power on the bikes when they're racing or training, but then they don't analyze the data after the race, and that's when, say, like the coaching can really kick in. So one of the biggest things is like average power, normalized power, training stress. Like you've got all these metrics and they all equate to like some conversion. So say if we're doing like road race and it's more, you know, it's very explosive, then we like normalized power and intensity factor are a big thing. Like intensity factor is like going to be like really high, and obviously that's going to equate to like more training stress. So what does that mean? Well, it actually means that you're burning more calories. So you can learn from that process and thinking, okay, well actually I need to up my calorie intake so I don't blow at the end. Generally speaking, for like time trialing, unless it's very technical or hilly, then average power is going to kick in, or like triathlon, like average power is the parameters that you want to use. And when it comes to training, then again, like there might be specific sessions that normalized power is more important. So it's quite a technical one, but ultimately, like all you're looking at is like the amount of training stress throughout that day is a lot around like the intake of fuel that you actually need. And then all you're trying to do with that training stress is like, when we look at like critical training load, is like how you're building that load. And I think that's what confuses a lot of people. Like for a lot of people, they kind of, you know, like when we look at training, they start here, they build form, and then it stagnates quite a lot. Where I like to look at training is like you pick like your specific goals and then we build into them, and that's where, you know, like utilizing like that data and looking at the trends in how you perform. Like we can analyze that and address it in certain ways with specific sessions and everything else.